that really hurt.
It did.
Just to be absolutely clear with you, that really, really hurt.
Yeah. It was supposed to be a pretend bottle.
Anyway, let's move it on.
Yes, I would like to converse about something very important. Why is it that we have leather seats in cars? Because in reality, it's a terrible material. I mean, it's too shiny and slippery, and it's too hot or it's too cold. It's rubbish.
No, I know. But I think it's because we got hung up on the idea, didn't we, that leather is somehow posh on a car seat. But it didn't used to be like that. In the old days, the posh people sat in the back of the car on cloth seats, and it was the chauffeur, the driver, sitting at the front that gave him leather because it's hard wearing. I've got a picture here of an old car. Look, they didn't even extend the roof to cover it. Just another 3 feet would have done it. And I think that's deliberate. I think that's to remind him that he's scum.
Yeah. What would you two like to have instead of leather?
Well, there's all sorts of things you could use. You could have cable knit, wool. Well, which is... But it's nice, it's cosy. I'm just
Lovely.
desperately looking around. I mean, his jumper would make quite a good car seat.
Yeah, be
It's
cosy.
nylon. It is, or pleblon, one of the two.
It's a good idea.
It isn't a good idea.
That's right.
It isn't. Or, how's this for an idea? Let me just throw it out there. Why not take a cow, turn the middle of it into burgers and steaks, and then instead of throwing the skin away, use it to cover the seats of your car?
Because it's a terrible material and it doesn't work.
That's only because you two have decided to be vegetarians.
Well, no, hang on.
No, they have.
Well,
they
a bit.
actually have. They woke
That-
up together one morning and went, let's not eat meat anymore.
OK, we didn't wake up together one morning.
Absolutely clear on
Just a
that.
fine
They
definition.
mysteriously arrived at the same conclusion at pretty much the same day.
Anyway, we still eat chicken.
Yep, and chicken is a vegetable.
Well,
is.
it is.
No, it is.
is.
Scientifically, chicken is a vegetable. If you cut a chicken's head off, it still runs around,
There you go.
thereby proving it's not a sentient being, it's a higher order vegetable.
It's a vegetable.
Scientifically, it is.
OK, then, well, we'll make the seats in your cars out of chicken skins. Actually, that's not a bad idea.
Wouldn't a chicken skin seat just look like a giant scrotum?
Yes, and that's your fault for not eating meat. So now let's move on, shall we? I've got something. Back in the 1920s, OK, a Scottish company made a car which they said was for women. Got a picture of it here. It's called the Galloway.
Yeah, but what about that car makes it for women? It's just
Well,
a
they
car.
said that it had a smaller than usual steering wheel and a more reliable engine.
Oh, yeah, of course, because men don't want a reliable engine, do they? It's only women.
I hate reliable engine. Also, you could drive it standing up, which is what women did in the 1920s. This sort of thing is still going on today, actually, because I've got news of one here. A car that's been launched called the Seat Mii Cosmopolitan. We have a picture of it. There you go.
Sorry, how do you spell me?
M-I-I.
It is me.
It is a Mii. It's
What are
been
you driving
done
these
in...
days? I've got a me.
Well, it's been done in collaboration with Cosmopolitan magazine. It's aimed at Cosmo Girl, it says. And, are you ready? The headlights have an eyeliner shape.
No, they don't.
It's easy to park.
Oh, yeah, because I much prefer a car that's hard to park because I'm a man.
Can we just get, can we get something clear here, OK? This gender splitting of cars is ridiculous. It's like saying, oh, well, a woman's airline seat or a woman's matches or a woman's... anything.
Hello, can I buy a box of women's pencils, please?
Exactly.
Same.
Exactly. The only things I can think of that can be split by gender are bicycles, because of the crossbar,
Oh, yeah.
and underwear.
Sometimes, yeah.
Overshare?
No, I said that. I left in a hurry.
It is that, honestly, I just can't understand why people think there's such a thing as a woman's car and a man's car.
No, it's ridiculous. It's not as if you drive cars with your old chap or your magic triangle. It's ridiculous. But then there's there's listen.
It's a little practice.
But a few years ago, Volvo did a concept car, and they boasted very loudly that the whole thing had been designed entirely by women. Okay, and I've got a picture of it. It's a coupe with gull-wing doors and a massive engine.
So everyone would do.
I would definitely have done that.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. Men and women are exactly the same when it comes to cars.
Yes.
The end.
Exactly.
Right, now, you know Tesla? Tesla believes it's pioneering the electric car, but that ain't so. There was a Scottish company back in the 60s, made an electric car. I've got a picture of it here.
Oh, God.
It's called the Scamp, OK? It had a top speed of 35 miles an hour, a range of 20 miles, and I want to make it absolutely plain, that's Scottish, not British.
It is, yeah. Very definitely. Yeah, that is Scottish.
OK, and we start with this. It's the new Alfa Romeo Stelvio.
For God's sake!
This is important news.
It's not important news, it's niche news for morons.
It's not! It's a superb car because you can have it with the same 500 horsepower engine that you get in the Quadriplegio, and with that, you get four-wheel drive.
Oh, so that one will work in the wet, will it?
Hammond,
Yes?
when somebody has a baby, OK, do you go up to it and they go, look at my new baby that I've created? Ugh, it's really ugly.
Oh, only if it's ugly.
You see, you can't be cruel about Alfa Romeos. They're
Can.
trying so hard. Oh, well, let's just move it on. Forget the Alfa then, forget the Alfa. Now, we should talk about where we are.
Yes.
OK,
Yes.
Tennessee, because this is the best-selling vehicle in the state. OK, and... Yeah, we got a picture of the police car, and an ambulance, and a hearse.
Yeah. I'm detecting a theme here.
Yeah, the pickup truck, I think I'm right in saying, is very popular in this neck of the woods, yes? I'm sure you may be amazed to hear they really haven't caught on at all in the UK. I mean, almost nobody has one.
No, you hardly ever see them, which is a shame because I love a pickup truck.
Yeah, we know.
No, I love a truck. I like a truck.
Yes,
I can say that
but hold
here.
on.
I can say that here.
that's fine, you can say that, but they're not actually very sensible, are they?
Mate, that's not everything. Anyway, look, you drive around in your Ferrari, OK, and you happily put up with all the compromises that imposes. So you put up with the cost and the inconvenience, and it's not very comfortable because it's a fast car. Same with the pickup. You put up with the compromises, the weight, the size, the fuel
Yeah,
consumption.
but what's the upside?
It's a pickup truck. You can use it where you can put logs in it and tow trees out of the woods with it. You could put a bear in it. If you...
Hammond, you work in the media. The only thing you have to put in the back of a vehicle are invitations to gala lunches. That's all you ever do.
The problem, actually, in Britain with a pickup truck, I'm sorry to have to admit this, is that if you pulled up at a set of traffic lights and you had your cement mixer and your chainsaw in the back, they would be stolen immediately.
Anything left in the open in Britain, it's like nuts at a party. You just help yourself. So why doesn't that happen here? Who's got a pickup truck here?
Yeah.
Holy
like,
cow, that's
yeah.
unbelievable. But when you go shopping and put things in the back, why doesn't someone just help themselves?
Because they shoot them here.
What?
Well, there is that. There is that. Thank you, Donald.
Where's Donald? No, but why? Have you ever had anything stolen when you were at a red light? Never. Has anyone ever had anything? No. I thought this was supposed to be crime-ridden in America.
Maybe people are honest. I don't know. It's possible.
I'm honest, but if I was in Britain and I saw a pickup truck parked with a lawnmower, I'd think, oh, I'll have that. Now, yesterday we went to, it was like a big classic car museum just out of town here, where you could also buy the exhibits.
It's great fun.
It was a fantastic day out. Really enjoyed ourselves in there. I mean, it was full of, you know, sort of Mustangs and Camaros and stuff. There was stuff like this. We've got a picture of this sort of thing. 60s and 70s stuff. Now, we know that cars like this are horrible to drive.
Terrible.
But they're tremendous to look at. There was so much joy in car design back then. And you just see it in that car there.
It actually made us slightly sad in a way, though, didn't it? Because as we were leaving, we suddenly started wondering, well, what are they going to put in that museum in 40 years' time?
Yeah. A Nissan bloody Duke.
Exactly.
Who wants to look at that? I don't want to look at that now.
No, exactly. Or the Dodge Dart. What child's going to say, oh, Daddy, let's go and look at the 40-year-old Dart in the museum? Nobody is.
I know, it's true that car design has become so dreary lately, and I think part of it, it's almost as if the people who design cars don't actually like cars that much.
Exactly right. But they did then, and you can tell. I mean, there was a Cuda in there next to a Plymouth Fury, and I just stood for about an hour just soaking them in.
I saw a 1966 Cadillac. We've got a picture of it here, look. Now, what I like about this is that the bloke who designed the bonnet, he got to the grille. He thought, I'll finish with the bonnet, I'll do the grille. But he didn't tell the blokes doing the wings, and they kept going. Look, so it sort of goes like another foot.
No, but
That's
you end up with a fantastic-looking car. It's like the Buick Riviera. They had one of those in there. I mean, look at that.
yeah.
Glorious. They had one of those as a toy when I was little, and if you put your finger over the back window, it flashed its lights. And you just look and you go, how can Buick have gone from doing that in, what, 30, 40 years to doing this, whatever, this brown... Look at... How have they done that? And it's the same as Chevrolet. There was an Impala in there, 1960.
Look at that. That is
Look at that.
exciting, not moving. Look at it.
That's a Chevy Impala from the 60s. Let's have a look at one from today.
Oh, for God's sake. How did they even have the nerve to call that an Impala? Because it isn't one.
I was looking at a Corvette, a 70s Corvette. That's the C3 model if you're a Corvette nerd.
This was a car that was driven by all of the astronauts.
Exactly.
And Dirk Diggler.
Yep.
Wow. So it's a car for porn stars and astronauts. What a strapline that
What
is.
car is there today that can be driven by porn stars and astronauts?
There isn't one.
An Alpha? Actually, he's right.
No, astronauts have to get there.
He's right. That's exactly what the quadriplegio is. It's for porn stars and astronauts, which is what I am.
Now, I would like to have a conversation about the Nürburgring, because this is important. Last year, I was delighted. The people who run the Nürburgring in Germany, they said they were going to ban car manufacturers from setting lap records.
Sorry,
there,
why were you delighted about that?
Because that's an excellent idea. Because if you make a car that is excellent for doing a fast lap of the Nürburgring, it will be useless as a car everywhere else in your life. It's like setting your house up to play Laser Quest. It will be brilliant for playing Laser Quest, but it'll be rubbish for a dinner party because it's full of lasers and darkness and fog and music and people running around thinking that they're in Star Wars. Or you could get a dog. You could train a dog as an attack dog, which is fantastic if you own a scrapyard and you need the dog to guard it. But if you take it home and expect it to be a pet, it will eat your children. It's completely useless. That's what happens when you set a car up for the Nürburgring.
Yeah, this isn't really a conversation, James.
No, I think we've accidentally turned down Rant Lane this week.
Well, there's more.
Oh, he's off
actually.
again.
No, but the thing is, the bad news in all this is that they've decided that they will allow car manufacturers to set lap records again.
Well, that's good.
No, it's bad.
OK.
Because think of the cars that have come out recently that we've driven that have been developed so that they would go faster around the Nürburgring. BMW M4 GTS, you can't deny it, it's a terrible car.
Yes.
Nissan GTR, the track edition, that is a terrible car. Even Seat, the Seat Leon Cupra 280, that's got a hatchback record for going around the Nürburgring, and it's rubbish. The Nürburgring ruins cars. I'm developing an app for the smartphone called Bomb the Nürburgring, where you guide a Dornier 17 over it and blow it up.
What are you doing on this programme?
Talking sense.
Good question. I don't know.
Because we have this old woman who has a baking show in Britain. She's called Mary Berry. And it would be the same, you probably know, she's probably the same as her saying, I hate cakes.
Yes.
Mary Berry would agree with me, because if she made a cake that had been developed on the Nürburgring, someone would put fried onions on the top and completely ruin it. You'd have a Victoria sponge with onion on the top for no reason.
James, you know you're weird, don't
That's
you?
not weird. That's the most sensible thing that's ever been said on this show.
You are weird.
Not weird.
He is weird. We were coming through the airport here the other day, coming through Chicago, and he went, Jeremy, smell my jacket.
He said what?
Yeah.
He did. He said, smell my jacket. I said, why? He said, because it smells of old record players.
Mate, that is weird.
But it did.
You know record players don't smell of anything.
They do. Old ones do. They smell of old record players. Who knows what an old record player smells like? Smells of decaying electrical
I'd like us to move
things
it
and
on because
valves.
it's getting scary now. What are you
That's
doing?
not
What are
a
you doing?
record
Smells
player.
of anything. What do you want about?
Does anybody have an old record player or anything old electrical? They smell, don't they? They
Does
have a
anybody
smell.
ever smelt an old record player, really? You think you have? You've smelt an old... God's truth. Did it have a wax cylinder on it, your old record player? What?
They smell like old plastic and warm rubber.
Yeah, exactly. See,
No,
that
that's
is
the
actually-
smelling of his special drawer, is that?
You're actually talking to Thomas Edison there. He invented the record player.
Impressive.
Well done, sir.
OK, now, I've got some conversation.
Good.
Last night at midnight, there was an alarm in Stuttgart. The Green Party that runs the city asked really everyone here not to use wood-burning stoves and not to drive their car today
Why?
because of the smog. Am I making this up?
I can't imagine anything clearer.
That is gin clear, but according to the Green Party, I'm not making this up. You're all from Stuttgart, yes? There is an alarm today because of the smog. Where is it?
How clear is it on a good day?
I know. We've got a photograph here of Beijing on now. Let us compare and contrast Beijing on a smoggy day with Stuttgart on a
Not the same, is it?
smoggy day. Now, can I just ask, what would you have done if they'd have actually ordered you not to drive cars? You know, at the moment it's an advisory. If they'd said you are banned from driving cars, what would you have done? Come on the train. That's unbelievable.
But this is the thing that we don't really understand about Germany. Once something becomes a rule, it is a rule. In fact, I once had a very interesting conversation with two friends of mine. One is from California and one is from Germany. And we were talking about losing your driving licence. And the Californian said, in Germany, what would happen if you lost your licence and then you drove your car? And the German said, no, you cannot do this. And he says, yeah, I know, but what if, I know you're not supposed to, but what if you did? He says, no, you cannot drive, you have no licence. And the Californian went, yeah, man, but, late one night, you go for a drive. And the German went, it is impossible to drive without a licence!
Impossible.
Impossible.
Actually, there's an interesting thing I discovered here. On a motorway, OK, obviously you can drive as fast as you like here, and you get people sometimes, not often, because your lane discipline is unbelievable, but sometimes they sit in the outside lane just dawdling. If you tailgate them, OK, now I've got the fines here, you get a €400 fine, 2 penalty points, and a 3-month ban for tailgating.
That is extreme.
Yes?
Ouch.
Right, but if you overtake them on the inside, just go past them on the inside, that's a €150 fine and 1 point.
There you go.
No. This is where it gets really good. If you go on the hard shoulder to overtake them, the emergency lane, OK, that's also 1 point, but only €90 fine.
There's your answer, that's what you do.
No, because, aha! You may think that, but if you fit your car with blue lights, flashing blue lights, basically you turn your car into a police car, you get, the point fines here, €20 fine and no points at all.
What? You're joking.
Blue lights.
No, you've got to understand.
That's true.
That is very strange to our ears, because if you tried that at home in the UK, you would be charged with impersonating a police officer, and you would never get out of prison, ever.
No, people say Germans have no sense of humour. If you want to know what no sense of humour is, impersonate a policeman in Britain. Then you'll know what no sense of humour is. Right, that is the end of Conversationstrasse.